1. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee Time Podcast. And if you're new here, welcome to Coffee Time Podcast. This podcast is absolutely themed around nothing, but we like to talk about a ton of things, such as UFC fights, self help, politics, because of Justine over there, and a drop of philosophy, which we're going to get in today. So, without further ado, if you want to have a cup of Joe with us, oh, dude, Justin, do you have your coffee?
I have Chick-fil-A
You got Chick-fil-A.
sponsored. Yeah.
You got Chick-fil-A. Well, if you have a cup of Joe for coffee time, drink up, hit the subscribe button, follow. Please review the podcast. That helps us also in the algorithmic chaos of being heard. But let's get straight into this, man. Justin, how you been?
Good. How about yourself?
I've been okay.
I
Really,
got
you got your Chick-fil-A and everything.
bro. I blame my daughter, man. She wants it all the fucking time.
You know you can be the boss of your daughter and just say no.
I would say when you become a father, but that will never happen. I pray for the girl that makes the mistake of telling you she's pregnant.
Mm-mm. It will. No, 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 no. Take that back. It won't. No, no, no.
That Mortal Kombat clip I said you go 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 go.
Right, right. No, I kids are not for me. I am meant. My destiny is to be the best uncle ever. So Ayana, me, to be perfect.
Fair
Ari,
enough.
Jaden, Nathan, and X. I'm all with them, all with those kids. But my own, no. I have enough nieces and nephews to supply that itch of that
Yeah.
baby. What is it? That baby
Baby
craving,
fever.
that primal instinct can be like, I need to reproduce. Nah, I'm fine. I just
Nah.
want to buy them all cards and then take them away from 'em when they act up. Easy, right? Is I am not hard. I am not hard to fucking please here with the baby things. But anyway, all right. But since we caught up in all that, let me bring up what I want to talk about. So, do you remember when we used to play this game in the tower? If you guys didn't know, me and Justin met in the Navy, and I don't know why I friended this guy, but we're still figuring that out. But we
Yep.
used to play this game, or well, it became a game called the Book of Questions. Do you remember this? It was a we. It's actually a book of questions. That's what it's called. It's not a trivia question. It's more so it it makes you question some things about you, and it gets you more insight without prying the doors open of someone. So you can use these questions that we're going to talk about today. We're only going to cover one per episode of this to find more about your significant other or your best friend or your coworkers. What's up?
I was thinking of something completely different where we would write everyone's fuck ups in that journal, like,
Oh no, the Dur diary, the no,
yeah,
The Dur diary.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
no,
girl.
no, 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 no. So no, these are just questions designed for more insight to really let you understand the person that you're with or you're working around. I thought it was a great thing while I did it in the military, and I've always played around with these questions with friends. But hey, how? Let me ask you this. So I just thought about bringing it into the podcast. Why not? And we actually did a me and oh, this is when Justin was being a hoe and not talking to me. Uh, on the K and J when the K and J was the K cast because the J was missing.
The J was moving, homie. He was moving to Texas, getting a home.
So when that all happened, I did this. I went through the book of questions. I think we got to like nine, but we're just gonna start from one and continue the series, or restart then continue with this guy Logan Cameron, and I guess he'll be back on when we figure out his deployment situation and all that. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah, because they're kind of getting fucked right now.
yeah, it's terrible. I actually want to have him and Bradwell on to talk about how the military is handling COVID-19 and all the restrictions. But that's neither here or there. That'll be a future episode on the Coffee Time podcast. But let's really get into it. Let's get into the book of questions. And you ready?
Yeah, yeah, let's
So,
go.
audience, coffee time audience. If you're long-term listeners and you were around for the K and J days, you've probably heard this question before. But let's just take a deep dive in it. Give yourself a minute to answer it, and we're gonna bounce off each other here. So the question is for today. Number one, for a person you love deeply, you love them deeply, Justin. Okay. Would you be willing to move to a distant country knowing that there would be little chance of seeing your friends and family again?
Um, yeah, because here's the thing, like I've always been really independent. Like a lot of people when they, get the or like whenever people join the military and then, go to another state, whatever, they have like this weird culture shock of being alone and all this stuff. And I never really had that issue because, better than anyone. I keep a very tight group of friends. Like I could count on my hand how many friends, like who I consider real friends, and that's only like two people, you and Michelle. They're like my two friends. Like I have acquaintances and everything like that. Like of course, Bruce and Cameron too. Yeah, they're my friends, but not to the level that we are. Like I've known Michelle for over 10 years, and me and you just have like this type bond because of the shit we've gone through together, essentially.
Yeah, for
But
real.
yeah. But if it's like let's just say my wife right now, like hey, she gets an assignment to move to another country, or vice versa, which she had to do for me, I'd more than be willing to you know say goodbye to my family and friends to pursue what they want to do. I asked my wife to do that whenever I joined. She moved from Texas to California, had to leave everything she knew behind and start something completely new, not knowing anyone, being by herself majority of the time because we'd either be out to sea or whatever. So yeah, I definitely would do that. No questions asked. I think opens the door for good opportunities, and you're still gonna remain close to family and friends. That's what social media is for,
Yeah.
essentially.
So this is why I love these questions because I don't know when these questions was or this book or PDF file was created, but you make a great point. We can use this one question and build off of it, right? So what if?
Hmm.
So this one question is our foundation. So let's transition here. What
Okay.
if there was no social media? Let's go back until like beeper days and everything like that, or snail mail. It would be
Mhm.
harder, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you always need that constant communication. We live in an age now where, people talk a lot of shit about social media, but it's really how you use it. Like the way I see it is like social media isn't always a bad thing because you're able to communicate. Like right now, we're communicating over Facebook
Mm-hmm.
essentially, like making these things always, talking to each other. And back then, before anything like that, yeah, you had the snail mail, and then not seeing them for a long time. So would it be a factor? Of course, but it'd still be like to where I would still give the same answer. Like I wouldn't have an issue with it. I love my family. They know that, and me and my family we're close, but not necessarily too close to where like I could. I haven't talked to my brother in months. That's just how we are. My sister, I rarely talk to her. My parents, whenever over there, yeah, I'd contact them almost every day. But you know, like whenever we go on deployments, there's times where we don't get that communication, where we are months without hearing
Yeah.
from someone. So it's something that is an adjustment, but it's still manageable, I believe.
It is interesting. So, how I would answer this question, if I was, so for a person I deeply loved, am I willing to move to a distant country knowing there would be little chance? So, it's little chance.
Hmm.
It's not saying that there's no chance. Little chance of seeing my friends or family again. Yeah, like, I would definitely, if I deeply love someone, like okay, I want to break down how I love.
Hmm.
Even if I am capable of loving. Like, you know.
You know how to love?
You feel things. No, but if I deeply love someone, I could understand that the sacrifices have to be made. And if they're moving to that country, if they're making me move, it has to be a sacrifice for them as well, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, I would definitely do it. It just feels like I have to focus on the emotion or the emotion or feeling of what is love and break that
Yeah.
down to understand like or not even try to break it down, be like, "No, I'm doing this because I love you." Like a lot of people attempt to explain their feelings, but sometimes you just got to look at the person that you love and you care about and just be like, "I don't know how to articulate it. I don't know how to put it in words. I just know it feels." and I just love you, and I deeply love you, and I'm willing to make the sacrifices for you. I
Hmm.
don't think love or some emotions such as caring, loving, and sometimes hatred needs to be explained, or it has to be like, why do you hate me? Don't worry about it. It's just how I feel at the moment. It's
Yeah.
deeply, it comes from something else. So if I deeply loved someone, there would be no hesitation from me to move to this distant country, and it says little chance of seeing your friends or family. So I think I'll be okay. You
Yeah,
know.
and I think it also goes to the fact like, that's what growing up is supposed to be, like you spend many years under your parents' household and then there's the time where you essentially like leave the nest and
Yeah.
start your own life. So, yeah, are you gonna miss your family? Of course. Are you gonna miss your friends? For sure. But the thing is like when you're with that person that you deeply love, you're going to create your own family, just you and them. And if you have kids along the way, sure, but that is your family now. That person is your family, and you're always gonna make new friends. Like you're gonna create these bonds because us as humans, we love creating bonds. Whether it's with a bunch of people or just a small group, we like these bonds. So when it comes to that type of stuff, I think it's really human nature. Like you're going to grow up and you're gonna leave. And some people do like whenever they're like, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm moving out," and they leave the state or leave the country. I don't see like me being a parent. If my daughter did that, would I be sad? Of course, but at the same time, like I would be like, you know what? I raised them to have this decision, to know what they're doing, and to trust them in what they're doing. And yeah, that's really just what it is, honestly.
Yeah, if you have a strong family and a friend group with support, your mother or father or your best friends, they I wouldn't say raised as in friends, but they allow you to have the tools to make that decision, so you're okay with
Hmm.
it. And if they're not
Yeah,
okay with it, then you need to question some things about.
yeah, for
But
sure.
if your girl's like, "Hey, let's move to this country because we're addicted to heroin," oh, it's a little different story. Do you love her or do you love the heroin? Okay, what's
Yeah,
going
and
on?
that's the other thing too, like, because there's a difference between like real love and lust, and you got to really play that game, because yeah, it may not work out. Like, let's say, it's someone I deeply love, we move there, and then it doesn't work out, and then I've cut these bonds with certain people. Like, let's say there were friends that weren't okay with it, or like we just lost touch, because that does happen also. Like, you do
Yeah.
lose touch with friends. Like, a good example is you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name them, but someone I was really close to, I haven't talked to in years. And it's there's social media. We both have social media. We have the means to
Oh, now I
communicate.
know what you're talking about. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, hold on. I had to go to my
we have the
mind
means to
palace for
communicate.
that. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but sometimes it just those bonds do sever. So let's say like I go back and me and that person are together. Like yeah, is it a risk doing this type of stuff? Of course, you never know what's going to happen. It's something new. It's going to add new stress. It's going to add obstacles you've never faced before. But I think it's easier to not live with regret. Like you don't want to be like, what would have happened if. Like I think like that kind of sways me in a bunch of things I do. Like, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to live knowing like what would have happened if I had done this instead of this, turn left instead of right.
Yeah, you just got that send
So,
it mentality. Send
yeah.
it.
But
Well, look,
yeah.
we're Oh, what's up? Let's say that again.
No,
My
no, no,
bad.
go ahead.
No, we're just coming up on.
But,
I want to keep these questions of the weeks to like 15 minutes,
okay.
and we're coming up to our like close to 15 minutes and everything. So, any closing statements from you, buddy?
No, I mean, just, for sure, those of you viewing, let us know what your response to this is. Do you think it's worth taking that leap, or is it more like you should really, like, wait? And because that's the other thing, too, like, should we wait? Like, how long, like, is it we've been dating for a couple months and you want me to drop everything and move? Have we been together for years? Like, those things play a factor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's fun breaking down the question and then having as foundation and asking more questions on top of that to build that wall for you to see to really get to know your partner, your friend, or your coworker. But hey, that was our question of the week on Coffee Time Podcast, guys. Thanks for coming back. If you're new, please follow, subscribe, review the podcast and everything. Now, if you want to communicate with us and answer this question, and we could read it on our next question of the week episode, which will follow probably on Wednesday. You like that Wednesday date,
Yeah,
Justin?
yeah, that works for me. Yeah, for
So
sure.
we can do Wednesdays and just comment below or send us an email at podcastkj@gmail.com. Until next time, you are what you listen to, and we'll catch you very, very soon with some hot podcast news and other things. Bye bye.